Right, okay, Gemma, I'm excited about this because we've got this
Why
week
are
on...
you excited? You said you haven't been following anything that's gone on.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not excited about talking... No, this has been weird this week's Coronation Street. I think it's because we've been busy with house stuff and everything. I've been watching it, but not necessarily taking on board what's been happening with it. It hasn't grabbed me this week, although... I was starting to get a bit angry. I was sort of bubbling up a little bit with all the Imran stuff towards the end of today's episode because they're messing with me. They're messing with me. I've got my theory, actually. No, what I'm excited about is that I've got some truly terrible storyline titles, and you don't know what they are yet, do you? So this is genuine live reaction. I've not really put much effort into these, and they're all a bit terrible pun storylines. So first off, Gemma. I haven't even got my notes document up.
I did wonder why you had the cabin there.
Here it is. I'm still getting... There we go. Okay, right. First off, Gemma, the Imran storyline. Yeah?
Yeah, I know. I've heard of him.
Who's Sabeen a naughty boy, then? Thank you. That's my first one.
And then we got the notes now.
Hang on. Let me just zoom in. Oh, man. This is all going wrong.
This is live. Just deal with it.
I'm not editing this. I haven't got time. Right. Who's Sabeen a naughty boy, then, Gemma, is our first storyline. Then we got the Max Payne storyline, and then Audrey going deaf.
Is she going
not
deaf?
Sorry,
blind?
She's blind. She's going blind. Yeah. Storyline title is Audrey no visual. Audrey no visual.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's good. It's good.
Next.
Next one. This is about Corey getting in the football squad, and Kevin and Tim go down there to have a protest.
Okay.
They go down to the football grounds.
You've got a lot of football slang in your vocabulary, don't you? So I'm expecting something great.
Grounds for complaint. That's my worst one. Why does that get a big stuff? Okay, next one. We got the Baileys. They're a bit poor at the moment. Yeah. I've got a storyline title for that. Bailey got 2 pennies to rub together. I can't get warmed up to this now.
They've got 2 pennies there. That's good.
And then finally we got the Smoke and Maria story, which didn't actually feature Maria in this week.
Of what's happening.
It's the car parking story with Sally and bit of Fergus today. She was trying to re-recruit Aggie to join her Sally army, wasn't she?
Sally army, I like that one.
Okay, right. Well, can I do the?
Oh no. Hang on.
Well,
yeah.
Oh yes, you're right. We did say before we started talking about this, we needed to chat Coronation Street, talking about excellent puns, everybody. What do you reckon about that?
This.
So they're doing something
so
Halloween-y for Coronation Street, and there was sense that they're so excited about this as well, so they can't even wait until Halloween to do this. So this is Super Soap Week for the year, presumably, isn't it? Mid-October, Coronation Street and Emmerdale like to do their big spectacular stuff, and something is going down on Coronation Street on the week of October the 18th. I think that's a Monday.
It's opening. I got the impression. Oh, is this just... Yeah, it's going from Monday. Yeah, sorry. There's a poster, and I spotted this in the bistro over someone's shoulder, and I said, Michael, did you see there was a poster that said Coronation Street? And then later, Debbie actually comes out and literally tells everybody. So I was like, oh. Yeah, so noticing was of no benefit.
This is something that Debbie is putting on at the bistro. I mean, this kind of kicks Roy's theme nights into
total rubbish. So, it's running from the Monday the 18th of October until Monday the 1st of November.
So I think that just kind of means we got 2 weeks of maybe something quite cool and spooky on Coronation Street happening for their Super Soap Week. And this is a quite decently designed poster. We're just having a look at the ITV Corrie Twitter, aren't we? There's this quite spooky clown that looks a little Chesney-ish, I have to say, sort of eating...
What, just because he's got red hair?
Yeah.
You've got to think about this.
And he's eating his eating the sign. And we got the House of Horrors, £10. I don't know whether whose house is the most horrific house. Yeah, maybe Gail's house.
Someone's been murdered in there.
Someone's murdered everywhere, to be fair. They've got Brewery Lane, free entry into Brewery Lane. Nice. Beer tent, 18+. Now, what I don't understand about the design of this beer tent bit of the logo is it does kind of look like it's sponsored by Nickelodeon with that big old orange splat, doesn't it? I don't know if that's what they were going for. But 18+. Orange splat Nickelodeon? That doesn't work. 4 p.m. till frightfully late. And DJ sets nightly. So
Ryan's got a gig.
Ryan's got a gig in there, hasn't he? Yeah, the only DJ in Weatherfield. There's food and drink there.
Well, it's beer tent.
And children under 12 must be accompanied by an adult.
Wow.
I say just leave them at home.
Don't bring them.
So Sam can go along. He's all right. But
I'm so excited.
Actually, what?
So Debbie's organising this, isn't she?
Correct.
Seems to be, and I think that she's organised this on the basis of the fact that she's got a discounted, evil, haunted Helter Skelter that she thinks is a great bargain and it's covered in fake blood.
Yeah. But it's actually real.
It's actually a real.
Yeah, the side. Who was it? Derek, wasn't it, that fell off of that a couple of years ago?
In the Winter Wonderland.
This is going to be so cool. I'm very much looking forward to this. Now, there has been lots of rumours going around, and reports, I suppose, about what is also happening on Super Soap Week this year.
What are you talking about?
I'm not going to say anything, and I've been trying to avoid these spoilers. I've been doing quite well at avoiding spoilers this past month, I have to say. Thank you very much to Rebecca for sending all our news in. But I do know that there is something going on big that is happening on that week as well. I don't want to say anything else, but there should be lots to look forward to mid-October on Coronation Street, and the horror theme. I hope it's not silly, because we do like a bit of spookiness, don't we, here?
Black Bull Butcher is probably
maybe he'll make an appearance.
Probably the what's it called?
The guest of honour
for what to expect from Coronation Street when it comes to.
They have had the odd horror, the spooky fancy dress on Corrie before, haven't they?
I love it.
Should be good. I can't wait to see that.
I love Halloween so much.
I know, 1 month away, Gemma.
October is my month. It
started to feel autumnal at last. We've definitely had an Indian summer here in the UK this year, haven't we? I've been loving it. But we've had a couple of days worth of rain, so
I think very rainy.
It's on the turn.
Hooray.
Right, okay. Who's Sabeen a naughty boy then? The answer is Imran. But who's Sabeen a naughty boy with? Still don't really know by the end of this week. So let's find out what's been going on there. So this is also Kelly. She hasn't been sentenced. I've kind of forgotten that she hadn't had her sentencing at the beginning of this week. I was like over that, whatever. But she's got her sentencing on Wednesday this week, and Imran comes visiting her in prison, and she's very down in the dumps, isn't she? We had that Mia the other week who hasn't been in it since this week, has she? The one who knows her, who's terrorised by her dad.
Her mum killed.
Yeah, so
no, she had an overdose.
Yeah, that's right. So Kelly is very isolated in prison. Imran comes visiting, but she's like, no, there's nothing I can do. Give up on me. And he's like, no, I promise to keep fighting for you. So he goes back to the office. So a bit of a moan from Adam, because he's been neglecting his other cases in favour of Kelly's. And we get to see a couple of scenes this week of Adam trying to...
are you going to do any work?
Yeah, maybe. And how many cases have we seen Adam working on in the past few months? I can't. The past year even. I don't know.
He hasn't done anything.
He just gets his head down and gets on with it, doesn't he? Anyway, Imran says, I promise that I'm going to be more on it once the sentencing is done on Wednesday. So we have Sabeen coming back again. I did wonder whether we'd see her again, but she's back to the show, and she comes asking Imran to collaborate on a case with her. It's the Harvey Gaskell case. Now there's a blast from the fairly recent past, but one that I definitely as well had thought was over. I was not expecting to hear the name Harvey Gaskell again. It's making me wonder whether we'll see Sharon back again.
Remind thick people like me.
Harvey Gaskell was...
He's the drug dealer.
He's the druggie played by Will Mellor, who was getting Simon into all sorts of scrapes earlier on this year with Jacob and I have to say, looking back at Harvey earlier this year, it felt like it was a character who... He was kind of bigged up quite a bit in the press and everything beforehand. Like, look, we got Will Mellor. Look, he's playing a bad guy. And then he kind of fizzled out a little bit, and then he went to prison.
He just sat on his bed, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He just spent a lot of time on his phone. So I'm glad that we get some kind of...
Do you think we're going to actually see him?
Closure on it? Yeah, sure. Surely we will. I don't think there's any... I don't think they'd have brought up this case and have it and Sabeen trying to get Imran in it if we weren't going to see him. So look out for that. Maybe that's going to be to do with I don't know when this case is supposed to be, but that seems pretty horrific. If it's could be tied into the Super Soap Week as well. I don't know, just because it felt big at the beginning of the year, didn't it?
Drug stories are boring, honestly. Sorry.
It's had its highs and its lows. Anyway, so Sabeen says, I've got Harvey Gaskell's case, and do you want to help me out on it? Do you want to do a little bit of collaborating? And Imran's like, I probably better not.
Like, I'm already a pariah on the street. I don't need to also try to get off the guy that's everyone else's.
Well, also the fact that he was terrorising Leanne, his kind of sister-in-law.
Exactly.
So probably not a very good idea.
I wish that there had been a scene where he had said that to Sabeen and she'd been like, you all know each other around here. This is really weird. Yeah. People don't talk to their neighbours like this. You know that, don't you? What's happened to you?
We haven't got any updates about our neighbours this week for the podcast, have we? I don't think we've spoken.
We're not.
No. Anyway, Sabeen says, "Oh, really? You seem very moralistic, considering that's interesting, considering what happened on the night of the trial." And I was like, "No," that I was trying to deny that this had ever happened, but it looks like Imran and Sabeen did make the beast with two backs on the night of the trial, and that's what I was thinking for the whole of the week. And then I was like, "No." Oh. Anyway, she says, and also, you lost your last case, didn't you? This is a definite win. This could rebuild your reputation if you get him off. And he's starting to look like he might bend on this, that idiot. So the beast.
What an idiot! He really is. Like, what?
Don't even go there, Imran. He doesn't know, does he? He hasn't agreed to it so far.
But just want to say to Sabeen here, I don't want to be mean to Imran, but he is technically a loser. Why would you pick him to be on your team? How is she justifying this to anybody that surely this is not how
he's a
work.
famous barrister. No, what is he? Solicitor, advocate, or whatever he is. That got Jeff sent down.
Do they headhunt each other?
I don't know how it works. I think I don't know. I think she does have some feelings for him.
Wouldn't you be a bit suspicious if she came to you and you're like a partner in the firm and she's like, "Can we hire Imran? Why?" What? He lost his last case, but only because I'm so good. Well, we've got you. What do we need him for? And isn't he your ex-husband? Oh, there's nothing to do with it. No.
Maybe she just wants to make herself look extra good against him.
Isn't he that man that works at the solicitors with all the spiders that live in the kitchen?
The
dirty toilet.
What was it? A saucepan-sized spider or something like this? They said. I can't remember. I wrote this. A satellite dish-sized spider, actually. Yeah, anyway, Imran's like, no, and he goes and tells Toyah about Sabeen's offer, although he doesn't go into the exact details. He's like, I can't tell you what the case is. He says that there's a big high-profile case. The money would be good, but I'm not really sure about it. And she says, if you believe in the case, go for it, but if you don't. So Sabeen goes visiting Imran later on in the episode, and he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And she's like, oh, well, you'll never play with the big girls with that attitude. And this kind of ties in very much with what we've seen. Boobs? What? You never play with the big girls? Yeah, it probably is. But did he play with the big girls on the night of the trial?
We don't know. Whose girls was he playing with? He must have been... Maybe he was playing with some lads. We don't know.
Maybe. No, this ties in with what she was saying in the previous weeks, that for her, winning is the only thing that's important. She doesn't care whether, guilty, innocent, whatever. She just wants to, have another tally on the, the
bedpost.
On the wall of her winning office chart or whatever.
Winning office chart.
So, back home later.
I got this from Etsy.
Back home later, Imran says to Toyah that, look, I've turned the case down. I didn't believe in it. And Toyah's kind of relieved, actually, because she doesn't trust Sabeen.
Or her big girls.
I think that she is right.
I think she's right as well.
I cannot believe that Imran even gave Sabeen the time of day after this.
Donkey, isn't he?
He so is. He so is.
Maybe I should think about it.
So Wednesday then, Toyah and Imran are in the cafe, and they're talking about the Kelly's sentencing that's happening today, and the fact that minimum 12 years after she was found guilty of murder, and he's thinking, maybe I can change the judge's mind or something, or maybe
I don't understand why anybody. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
But he's doing his speech writing, isn't he, again?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Kevin is wondering whether Abby's going to come along, because she's still on the run somewhere. After the whole trial, she did a bunk, and
she told him she doesn't like him anymore.
She doesn't take the hint. No,
it's like, what? This?
She might just
who pass up this?
It's because
she
Abby
must have lost her mind.
I don't think Abby knows that they got the wrong person, I think, didn't they? Doesn't she? So she wants to see Corey going down, really. That's not happening.
Well, Corey winked at her and then she ran away forever.
So Debbie is going to go along for moral support instead with Kevin. So they get to court. Sabeen's there. She wishes Imran luck. She's been a bit kind of nicey to him, isn't she? And I was going back and forth as the week went on about whether she was genuinely being nice to him, whether it's really a case of, no hard feelings, that kind of thing, or whether she's trying to get back with him, or whether she's just trying to butter him up to go on this Gaskell case. I don't know. She offers to look at his speech, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with you, actually.
Well, he's like, he kind of was being nice to her and talking and chatting, and then the next minute, he's like, sod off.
Yeah. I'm just going to pause this a minute because there's lots of strange noises coming from the other side of the house, and I think Abby's got herself in some kind of mischief. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. She's fine. I don't know. She's just jumping around on some boxes somewhere. I'm terrified she's going to get caught up in the blinds one of these days. Anyway, so Toyah turns up and he says, oh yeah, well, sorry, Sabeen was just asking me about this other case and I'm not doing it. Working together with my ex would not work. Abby turns up. No, she doesn't. Abby doesn't turn up at the court. R. Kelly takes the stand, and we get the prosecutor who reminds everybody of what went on. You know, that time that Kelly kicked Seb to death. What an violent, unrepentant young toe rag that Kelly Nealon is, and they should throw the book at her, Your Honour.
This is the trouble about cases where the defendant maintains their innocence even if they're found guilty.
Well, I found it very interesting the language that Imran was using when he got to say his thing, because he couldn't say she didn't do it. She really didn't do it. He had to say,
like it's an established fact of law now.
Yeah, he said she made some mistakes. I can't remember what he said exactly. And she was like, regrettable incident or whatever. So
incident.
He didn't say that she did it, but he wasn't saying that you said she was guilty. I'm not going to... So, yeah, he says, please...
She's vulnerable.
She's
sad.
vulnerable. She had Rick Nealon as a father, Laura as a mum. She was neglectful. She was the one that convinced Kelly not to cooperate with the police. Kelly admits this is now wrong.
She's only kicked one person to death.
No previous convictions, Your Honour. Forget about that sharing the video online thing. That's probably not really allowed.
Count.
But anyway, please take this into account. Judge sums up. What a nasty crime it was, basically. And
the judge is like, I was a mega goth when I was a girl, and I'm not having this. People kicking each other to death for being a goth.
She was a vicar when she was a girl, don't you remember?
Are you saying vicars can't be goths?
She was in it.
You're prejudiced.
It's been on Classic Coronation Street on ITV3 this week. It's been Roy and Hayley's wedding, so we've got to see Judge, what's her face, being Jessica Lundy. So anyway, she's sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 15 years to be served, which is...
Right.
Shocking stuff.
There's also been a very high-profile case in the media. I'm sure if you're from this country, you have not failed to notice this horrible... You don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not funny.
What is it?
Is it Wayne Couzens? Because I haven't heard anyone say it out loud. It's this police officer that was found guilty of murdering that girl... Michael.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sarah Everard, I think.
Oh, maybe I recognise that name.
I don't. But I just want to point out because there's a difference in this country between whole life sentences and life sentences. So this guy, this murderer, was given a whole life sentence, which means he's never going to be let out of prison. But she's been given a life sentence, which is 15 years.
I wondered whether that was just average life of a soap character. 15 years, not bad.
That's not...
Especially when you associate it with the wrong uns. Anyway, Imran says, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Did a bit of a rubbish job there, didn't I? Sentencing's over. Sabeen comes over to Imran. She's trying to be nice again, but he's like, I don't want to hear it. Leave me the hell alone. Kevin comes stomping out with his size 7 and he has a massive go at Sabeen. He's like, rah, everybody knows that Corey's guilty, you got him off, rah. And then and then he hits Imran.
And then Imran's like, hold on a minute.
It was amazing.
And then Kevin just ridiculous. Diffs him
Imran,
without even looking.
Imran is behind Kevin, just doing his kind of withering look that he sometimes does. And he comes up, put his hands on Kevin's shoulder, and Kevin's like, I can't.
Kevin's does like a ninja, like
it was a total ninja block, wasn't it? It was a counter.
No, it was a Miss Piggy, like frog.
Whacks Imran on the face, and then that's the end of the first episode, wasn't it? On Wednesday,
and everyone's shocked.
Everyone's totally shocked. What's going to happen with Imran?
About his beautiful face.
I know, you're not the most handsome person on the street now, are you, Imran?
Now your nose is all out of joint.
Anyway,
Kevin's jealous.
No, yeah, I know, he is. He's sorry
I
after the
Kevin
break.
just kind of like fumbles away.
Sorry,
like
mate. I didn't mean to do it. It was just
idiot.
the end of the episode and we needed a cliffhanger.
It's like I panicked. I didn't know how to end the scene, so I just thought I'd punch you in the face.
Standard Kevin response there.
Pretty much, isn't it? If you can't, if you shout at it doesn't work, just punch it or kick it or throw something like he was doing earlier.
Or just fall over on the street, smash your face into the cobbles. That sometimes works.
Sometimes.
Imran just wants to let it drop, and Sabeen says, "Well, look, I'll take you to hospital."
He spent the rest of the episode looking like he's been nosing the jam.
Nosing the jam. Whose jam has he been nosing?
That's a euphemism.
So Toyah clearly is not pleased with the idea that Imran goes to the hospital with Sabeen, but she's got to look after Kelly or something.
For God's sake, this bloody kid is more trouble in prison than she was out of it.
Now, what I really like when Imran and Sabeen went to prison was they were still talking about
to hospital.
Sorry,
so it's hard to tell the difference.
Kevin says to Sabeen, "Oh, that was so out of character for Kevin." No,
Imran
it wasn't,
says that
Imran.
about Kevin.
That was so out of character for Kevin. Imran, you've known him for what, 4 years now?
Imran should have been like, he's always punching people in the nose.
It's like we don't feel.
We don't really.
Don't hold a grudge anymore. That's
we
just
don't
what
react. It just encourages him to do it again.
She's like, you should press charges. And he's like, no.
Well, if we did it for every time, that poor man would never be out of jail.
Yeah, so then Sabeen's like, anyway, talking about pressing charges. Oh, this Harvey Gaskell case, eh?
Wouldn't you like to get this poor drug dealer off?
And then she flutters her eyelashes at him, but it's no good. He's standing firm. Back on the street.
He's one of these boring solicitors that only takes cases where he thinks that his client is innocent.
Back on the street, we have Toyah and Gary having a scene together,
and that's why
which
his
is fairly
kitchen's
unusual.
full of spiders, just to say. I bet Sabeen's not seen a spider in her offices for years.
He's probably got those spiders living in that powdered wig of his, hasn't he?
Oh, God. That's scary and horrible.
Take that to Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Toyah and Gary, what are they talking about? Oh, because Gary sneaks into court, doesn't he? He goes and has a bit of a watch of the sentencing and everything, and she's like, thanks for coming and supporting Kelly and everything.
She's on suicide watch.
Yeah. And also, Imran's very stressed at the moment. He didn't come home on the night of the verdict, even. It was so bad. And Gary's like, that's interesting. I saw him in town. You know how on the Coronation Street, we always happen to be in the right place at the right time to see people? That doesn't just happen here on Victoria Street and Coronation Street, you know. It also happens in town. I was there. I saw him going into a bar that night. Says Toyah, because he claimed that he was in his office all night.
I'm confused as to what the hell he was up to then, because he was in his office for a lot of the time, and then he started staggering around, and then Sabeen got him in her taxi.
Yeah.
Did they go to town then? Because I thought said...
No, they went back to her house.
But he said he saw him in town going into a bar.
Yes. Look, we'll come to this later. We get past...
You need to explain it to me, Michael.
I will later when it comes.
I can't cope with this uncertainty.
Right, so Toyah phones Kelly and says, look, it's going to be okay. Don't worry, you can phone us whenever you like. Yeah,
I mean, it was just the other day I was running through the woods being chased by a rapist, and now I'm here.
Exactly. And that was longer than 15 years ago, wasn't it? That was like 20 years ago.
Oh, it was just the other day. It's just 15 years ago. I was being chased down a ginnel by a rapist.
We don't know what. No. We don't know what Toyah was doing 15 years ago. What she went in the show then? She was running a juice bar in London with Spider,
It was just 15 years ago that I was trying to get Londoners to drink matcha powdered tea, and now suddenly everyone wants to drink it and they got it at Pratt. But when I was trying to sell it, nobody wanted it.
Right.
Not bitter about it anyway.
Kelly
says, how are you?
Kelly says she wants... I don't want to talk to you, Toyah. You're boring. Can I talk to Imran, please? So Toyah has to say, no, you can't really, because he got punched in the face by Kevin. And Kelly's like, oh... Kevin.
Always beautiful nose.
Typical Kevin.
Well, that scary, angry man that works at the Calix is always punching people in the face.
Kevin.
We call him Punchy Kev.
Kelly says, look, I've just made everything worse here, haven't I? And Toyah says, everything's okay, don't worry.
I don't really think you could have
Imran when he's
made
back,
it.
whenever that's going to
be. I think it's as bad as it's ever going to get, so have at it.
Right, so Toyah goes off to the hospital. She's fed up of waiting for him. And so she finds Imran and Sabeen there.
Still there.
And this is after Sabeen had made a few flirty marks about the night of the verdict again. And all through this episode, we're like, but did you do it? That's all we want to know.
I was
thinking, you do it?
They did it.
I didn't know, because they weren't admitting it. They didn't say exactly.
Well, she didn't go, you left your pants in my bed.
Toyah's...
Or she didn't go... I'm worried that I might be pregnant, because that's how you would know.
That's how you would know. Toyah suggests that maybe
Sabeen
is after him, and Imran says no, she's not. Don't worry. But it seemed at the time that she clearly was, but I don't know anymore.
She must fancy him, because she sat next to him in that waiting room for hours with jam all over his nose, and she didn't even say anything.
Didn't even try to give it a lick.
Yeah.
Toyah. So back at home, Toyah tells Imran, "Look, I'm not sure you're telling the truth here, mate. What's going on between you and Sabeen? Were you together on the night of the verdict?"
Tell you what.
And he's like, "Look, it's true. I went to a bar." What?
I'm fed up with Toyah being so reasonable. I want her to actually, like, the thing is, she's so restrained, isn't she? She's like...
Sickeningly so.
I'm just a tiny bit worried that you might be cheating on me, and I'm just checking to see if everything's fine with you. It's fine. You say it's fine, I'll believe you then. I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to challenge you. I think everything's fine. Would you like a takeaway from Speed Dial? But we're only having lamb toast because I'm a vegetarian. Actually, we can have some chickpeas too. They're delicious, aren't they? And Bombay aloo. Anyway, let's get on with it. What are you doing tomorrow? You're not going to see Sabeen again, are you? No, because she's your ex-wife, and we don't want that to happen, do we?
Toyah has completely forgotten that she used to do kickboxing classes as a teen.
Did she?
They keep bringing this up. I don't think I've ever actually seen her do it, but there's been multiple references of kickboxing Toyahs in late 90s, early 2000s Coronation Street, and I feel a bit shortchanged here that she's not busting out her moves on Sabeen.
Sabeen would sue her. She's already tried to get Kevin in trouble. This was Toyah probably paid Kevin off. Like, punch Imran, see what Sabeen does, because I want to see if I can get away with giving that bitch a slap.
Anyway, so Imran's like, look, I went to a bar, got very drunk,
okay.
I just needed a break. Oh, I hated myself.
But what did he really do then?
We will find out. Hold your horses.
Okay, I can't wait.
He says, I'm committed to you, Toyah, and Kelly, my family.
Oh, that was so sweet when he said that.
Imran, but why are you such a dirty dog?
And you could see Toyah's like, oh, it's not the family I would have picked, really.
It's better than
I wanted a baby.
Please. He says he'd never do anything to jeopardise
I wanted a baby, not a grown murderess.
Toyah's like, sorry for accusing you.
But you're being... I was going to swear then. But you're being really flipping suspicious.
Very suspicious, Imran. He's feeling guilty about working too hard, apparently, though.
Oh,
so he's
if
going
only
to not
I
do
knew
that
someone
so
who was like that.
So Imran phones Sabeen at the end of the episode and says, I need to see you. And she is jolly pleased with this. Friday.
Hang on, what?
What? He says, I need to see you, doesn't She's on the
Imran
phone going...
Oh, Sabeen is pleased.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about Toyah.
Toyah's
what?
I need to meet you in the back of the beer garden in the Rovers, please.
I'll have
shelter.
an orange.
Imran on Friday is still feeling very sorry for himself, and Toyah understands, though. He's been through a really stressful period
at the moment, and I don't really mind that we've not seen anything of each other for days and days and days. It's fine. I've been doing Rubik's Cubes, I've knitted a hat, and I don't even know how to knit.
Toyah and Imran have seen more of each other this past month or so than they had for the whole year. This has brought them together. She should be thanking Sabeen.
We're only watching them when there's stress and strife. Like, I imagine... the whole pandemic, they were just sitting on the sofa holding hands and watching Crossroads.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Bit of Downton, okay. That's Zoe Tattersall. I wonder
what happened to her. Tell you what, that cult's done well, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's Downton Abbey, actually, the Etheric Foundation.
Is Downton Abbey like just a bunch of people living in modern day Britain, like wearing creepy clothes and pretending that it's 100 years ago?
Anyway, she says, let's have a date in the bistro, just for a change, you know. Oh no, what was it? That made it Audrey. When Gail suggests to Audrey the other day we should go to the bistro, doesn't Audrey say, oh, that'll make a nice change?
That's how they knew she's going mental.
I think that was a bit of fourth wall breaking there. Actually, there was quite a lot I was going to say this of fourth wall breaking this week. The Coronation Street is clearly totally meta,
Nobody would ever name something
after their street.
No.
Then we had Sally today saying, I'm the so-and-so, I can't remember who it was, some famous writer that I should probably know who he was. I'm the so-and-so of Coronation Street. She tells Fergus, doesn't she?
I wasn't listening.
Or the counsellor or something. And then we had Daniel talking to Max about this kitchen sink drama play that they're reading, which is clearly a reference. So, very, very meta this week, Coronation Street.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Be careful.
Maybe it's spooky.
So, anyway, they're going to go to the beast. No, they can't go to the beast. He's coming up with excuses. Toyah looks worried. Who's he busy with?
Don't worry, Imran. You're probably just working really hard card still, even though you said you would stop, and that's fine with me.
Well, he's visiting Kelly first.
Make a nice dinner for us to have later.
I don't know. Kelly's not really done much this week, apart from the whole sentence.
He just looks sad and
I think I was just a bit underwhelmed by the sentencing because I thought, well, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, she's been seeing a therapist. He goes along to it. She's still feeling pretty hopeless, and she's not been doing her exercises that the therapist suggested last time, but she very much likes having Imran and Toyah to support her. Who knows what she would do if Imran would and Toyah would split up.
Awful.
So, Toyah's lost in her thoughts at the factory later, isn't she?
She's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
What's my job again? And Michael comes in there and finds her.
Because I might get fired.
Yeah.
But I've been promoted and I'm not sure what I do apart from tell Michael to get back to work. I'm definitely in charge of Michael. That's one thing I do know.
She talks to Michael and says, me and Imran are going through a bit of a tough patch at the moment. We're not getting time together. Can't even have lunch at the bistro with him. And that's kind of just standard Corrie lunch for characters around here. And he says, why don't you go and take a takeaway to him? Brilliant idea, says Toyah.
She looks at him like he's just...
genius.
He's like brought down the 10 Commandments from the mountain, like, wow. Actually, no, didn't they go, no, we don't like those, and break them up?
They did. Yeah.
These are
Moses
rubbish.
had to go back
These are the worst commandments of ever. What, do not covet thy neighbour's arse? I think you mean ass. Take it back.
Adam, meanwhile, is still having a go at
That's
Imran.
That's what Instagram's all about, you know, coveting each other's arses.
Is it? Adam has a go at Imran because he's in the office.
And he's not doing
any work again. He's not in the office. He was outside the office, wasn't he? He was running to the Rovers because he's going to meet this important client there, apparently. Toyah goes to the office, that's right, and Adam's like, oh, Imran, he was dashing off in the direction of the Rovers earlier. You better go and see him if you want. Go over there if you want to see him. He said he had an important client, but he needs to get and do some work here, actually. So she finds him sitting alone in the back area of the Rovers and says, right, you've been telling me you've been working your ass off, but there's Adam saying that you've been doing sod all here. What's going on? Why are you meeting this important client in the smoking area of the Rovers? Something dodgy is going on
And he gives the most rubbish excuse I've ever heard, which was, it's a very private case and we need complete secrecy.
I know.
So we're doing it outside. Where you can be overheard in 4 different directions.
To be fair, there's no other house on the other side of the Rovers, is there? But Tracy's a big enough ear waggler next door for anybody.
And anyone could be standing in the ginnel listening.
I know.
Frequently are.
I know.
Anyway. And how rude of him to commandeer the smoking section when he's not even smoking.
I know. Well, nobody smokes on Coronation Street anymore, do they? Hey, G, when was the last time you saw a character with a cigarette in their mouth?
Vicky?
Did she?
Yeah, when they introduced an evil character, they always smoke for like one scene, and then the health and safety person's like, no more, no, we have to fill out too many forms.
Smoking soon, aren't they? Anyway, he's during all of this, Sabeen walks past, doesn't she? Toyah's got her back to the gate, and Sabine's like, oh no, I better carry on walking.
And Imran's looking over Toyah's shoulder like he's seen a ghost, and she turns around and she's like, what's happening?
We literally hear her clip-clopping down the ginnel, and Toyah's like, is there somebody there? I'm not going to go and investigate, but I'm assuming.
I want to hear the truth from you.
And so she
accuses him of going to be meeting up with Sabeen.
Yeah, he says, no, I wasn't. Nothing's going on between her, I swear. And she's like, you're lying. You lied about where you were on the night of the verdict. Maybe I should go and speak to Sabeen and find out for myself.
Yeah.
And he has to admit it. He has to fess up. He did spend the night at her house, but nothing happened. They didn't do it, he said. Not even a kiss, not even a holdy handsy. He just went to sleep on the sofa because he was shagged out after a hard day's defending. and that was that. I love you, Toyah. And she's like, oh, thank goodness for that. You do swear you love me, don't you? And you didn't even kiss her. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, right, good. Get ready for a classic Corrie line. No more secrets. We need to be honest with each other. No more lies. This is going to be, and so on and so on. So Imran goes back to work. Adam's still really annoyed at him. Imran says, look, I'm going to be more focused on work next week. And Adam says, great, because we need to give this office a good bottoming, as my mother-in-law says. I don't understand
how does this work? This law firm that they're both involved in.
They said the cleaners off.
Yeah, I know, but how do they share the money? Do they, split everything 50-50?
No, I think it's Adam's business, isn't it?
Well, why can't Imran just say, I'm going to do my own thing because I don't want to clean the office anymore?
I don't know.
Why is he his boss? That's what I don't understand. And what does Imran have to give him a bit of his money then?
I don't know.
What does Adam do for Imran?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Does he got his name on the door. If you just work for me, I'll do your taxes and all the boring stuff.
If we start this, it's going to be like the factory and who owns what share, and it's like nobody cares. So, we have Toyah and Sabeen in the bistro. This is quite cool when this scene started. It's like, what are they going to do? Turns out, not much. But they have a nice little chat together, and Toyah uses. Bless her.
She does a little.
She tries to get Sabeen to walk into her trap by saying, "Oh, Imran's told me the truth about what happened between you on the night of the verdict. I want to hear what you have to say." Just hoping that Sabeen would go,
"Oh no,
what? Imran said that we slept together."
I'll confess it all then.
She doesn't. Sabeen says, "Right, yeah, Imran did come to my house. It's true, but not in my bed. He could barely even take his shoes off. You don't need to take your shoes off to do what Toyah's thinking of, Sabeen, just to let you know. She offered him a couch because he was a mess, just like she would have done with any of her colleagues. And Toyah's like, thank goodness for that. Thank you." I assume the worst when he came back looking terrible the next day. Sabeen seems to look a little bit confused about this. So later on, she goes to Imran's office and says, "Right, I've just been talking with Toyah. I had a very interesting chat, actually. And I backed up your version of the events." And Imran's like, "Cheers, thanks, I owe you one." So then she brings up this Harvey case again, and he's like, "Hang on a minute, you're trying to blackmail me here? You're going to tell Toyah the truth about what happened on the night of the verdict if I don't go in on this Harvey Gaskell case with you?" And he says, "Yeah, I did not." And she says, we get to find out a little bit more about it, because she says, "He didn't spend the whole night at her house. You went out to town, didn't you? You must have ended up in someone else's bed. But whose?" So that's what happened, Gemma. She took him back to her house, flat or whatever, and then he disappears off in the middle of the night into town.
Dirty dog.
So when we saw him the following Monday, and he was staggering back along Victoria Street, I don't think he was coming directly from Sabeen's house then. He's been somebody else's. Just before we start to theorise about who that could be, we have the final scene where Imran goes home later. Toyah says, sorry for being so suspicious. Oh, what am I like, eh? I'm so lucky to have you." Again, so cliche after so cliche.
Do you forgive me for being such a horrible girlfriend and suspecting you of being a cheating bastard?
She says, "Oh, I'm so lucky to have you, Imran." He's like, "No, I'm lucky to have you.
You gullible fool.
From now on, we need to be upfront with each other." Oh no, sorry, it was Imran. It was Toyah that said that. So, Gemma, what's going on here then? Imran.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm just really disappointed. I'm really disappointed
it's
in
so
Imran.
Mysterious. What?
It's mysterious. I'm conflicted because I'm like,
about?
I'm really conflicted because I'm quite caught up in the whole soapy, who could it be of it? But equally, on the other hand, I'm like, oh, but I don't want Imran to have cheated on Toyah, and it's looking very much like he has. And as the week went on, and I was thinking, well, maybe that he didn't. And then when Imran said, "I didn't sleep with her," I was thinking, oh, good, they're going down that. They just wanted us to think that he did. Fine, then it'll be okay. And when then Sabeen says, "Yeah, Imran didn't sleep with me," I was like, brilliant. I'm glad. Imran and Toyah forever. And then it turned. But then when she comes round and he thanks her for backing up his story, I was like, oh no, he has been a naughty boy, and he has. And it's still not completely confirmed, because she says, "You must have." I don't know why she jumps to that conclusion. You went off to a bar, therefore you must have and you came back looking a bit worse aware. Surely, so therefore you must have ended up in someone's bed. Oh, I don't know.
Sabeen came to that conclusion.
What?
Sabeen came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
So here's the thing, right? Sabeen still obviously fancies Imran, but she also suspects him of cheating on Toyah. Is that why she's sniffing around him? Because she thinks, oh, he's a cheating dog. He's cheated before. He'll cheat on her with me now. Why would you want a man who can't literally keep his zip up?
I don't know whether she's into him or not. I don't know whether she just wants him for this case.
She's a really hard character to read, because I don't think she's being written as a consistent character for her own sake. She's being written as a plot device to get Imran to do certain things.
I just think that she's got a good poker face. I think she's very unreadable. sometimes.
Yeah, but what's her motivation? Can you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't think Coronation Street knows really.
Well, I think they do, but
Is
they
she
don't
really
want
so
to show us.
stupid that she wants a man who's a serial cheater?
Well, maybe she thinks that she's enough to stop
But
his
she
straying
wasn't
ways.
the first time, was she? What was? She's surely not this dumb.
I don't know.
She seems like a really intelligent woman, and it also seems to me as though she had a very hard and clear boundary. And when she found out that he cheated on her, she literally decided, I'm worth more than this. I'm gonna get rid of you.
It wouldn't surprise me if this was all a very, very long game on Sabeen's part to, completely ruin his life.
Okay.
Possibly.
This is what I mean. I don't know. I think that the actress is really good.
I'm loving Toyah Bishop.
She's great. I think she's really, really good as Sabeen, isn't she? But I don't know who Sabeen is yet.
If I'm kind of thinking, let's compare Sabeen with Max, both of who are kind of snarky asses. But Sabeen's so much more fun to watch, isn't she? She's so much more kind of foxy and minxy, and Max
but the thing is, though, I don't know. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to hate Max, but I don't know what I'm supposed to think of Sabeen yet.
Yeah. I think we're supposed to. I think she's supposed to be fairly obviously antagonistic. I don't think we're supposed to like her, but she's one of these love to hate villains. I think
we are supposed to sort of like her because she's kind of like admirably ruthless. She's got no scruples. I think people like that are more are.
I really don't think we're supposed to like her because
are better than people that pretend that they're morally upstanding and then go around and do crap behind your back.
No, I think that the fact that she was defending Corey, even after it had become increasingly obvious that he had done it,
rubbish.
Makes us think, how on earth could we possibly be siding with her?
No, that's terrible. That's a really bad thing to say.
Why?
Because she is a solicitor and her job is to defend him in court.
No, if she thinks that her client didn't do it, she is not allowed to defend him. No, that's not true. No, it's not. It is true.
No, it isn't true.
It is.
No, if she has reason to believe a factual... Like, if she has evidence to prove that he is lying, she can't represent those lies in court, but you're under no obligation as a lawyer to believe your client. You have to defend them in the law.
But then he must be lying if he's saying he didn't do it. If she thinks
what are you talking about?
Oh, it doesn't matter. That's not the talking
point. No, but I don't agree with you because there are people in this world who are obviously guilty of a crime who still manage to get defence lawyers to defend them in court, and it doesn't matter if the defence lawyers believe them or not. They have to uphold the law, and they're not allowed to lie to the court. That's the only thing.
Okay.
They're not allowed to stand there and say something to the court that they know is not true.
Okay, fine. That's not the talking point here. The talking point is, what has Imran been up to and who has he been up to it with? I'm so disappointed that yet again one of my favourite characters is dragged himself through the mud just because of, thinking with his pants.
It's like when you get a really a nice you've got your cute little pet, and it's normally a boy pet that does this, and you look down and they're looking at you, they're cute on the sitting on your nice clean carpet, and then they start to scooch their bum on the floor because they're trying to...
I want to know whose leg Imran's been humping, and I think we've got three options here in my head, and I think one of them is more obvious than the others. Number one, I'm just thinking of people who could make the most drama, because it could be anybody, or more likely it could just be some random. It's probably Nikki or something, isn't it? Back on the game again. I think it could be Leanne. Now, Leanne wasn't really doing very much around here, but that would certainly cause a lot of tension, obviously, to put it lightly, between her and Toyah. And plus, there's the whole Harvey thing, and she's the victim one of the victims in the Harvey case, and if he slept with her, blah 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 blah. So we see how that turned out. Number two is Laura. I think again that would cause an awful lot of drama, and I have wondered for the past 6 months or so, is Imran and Laura gonna end up together? But I think after her shocking performance in court on the week of the trial, where she basically drops her own daughter in it, I can't see any particular reason why they would end up together, which leaves me as Abby as being the one that he dropped his drawers for. Because, what do you think?
I didn't even, until until the end of the week, I didn't even think that there was any doubt that Sabeen and Imran had been sleeping together.
The same with me. And in a way I'm relieved, but then also maybe it's worse.
But I was like, so what has he done then? And if the answer is just, he was just shagging someone else, I'm going to be a bit like,
No, it depends who it is and what I'm going to... I think Abby... Right, this is what I reckon, because on the night of the trial, Imran finds Abby in the garden, doesn't he? And she's like, I want to... Was that when she was saying I want to score, I think, maybe, and you got your powdered wigs? I can't remember, but they have the conversation there, and she's like, that I've learned that you can get away with naughty things. Corey has told me you can get away with naughty things, so why should you do what's right? And that could certainly lead to them doing something. He's does he offer to take her home or something? I can't remember, but we know that she ends up going with Sabeen either way. But I'm starting to think it could be possible that when he goes to town, he finds Abby there and ends up with her. That
explains why she was so upset with Kevin, because she was really upset with herself and she's projecting.
The next morning, we find out that she's been asleep on the sofa. So if they did do something, then I don't know where they did it.
Hopefully not on Kevin's sofa.
In some alley somewhere, or maybe just in the lawyer's office, because that's seen a lot of action. So we know that desk.
Was Kevin's fist directed by divine justice?
Maybe it was, and
without him even realising that he was an agent of the universe.
And maybe that's why Imran was like, because who was it? It was somebody was saying, you should press charges against Kevin, and he's like, no, I just want to leave it, because he's feeling massively guilty that he bombed Kevin's girl. Yeah, exactly.
It's easy come, easy go.
I think it's starting to tie together.
Look, Sabeen, it's the bro code.
and also that it was the day after this happened, pretty much, that Abby does a bunk, doesn't she? So she's maybe feeling guilty about sleeping with Imran.
Why? Shut up. No more talking about it.
To be fair, if Imran was going to leave Toyah for anybody, and I don't want that.
What?
I think it could be a split on the card here. There are worse couple. People than Abby for Imran to end up with, because I am an Abby fan and I'm an Imran fan, and I think I don't know.
Nonsense.
What do you think about the possibility of it being her? Does this work for you? Can you think of any
it makes
better
logical sense, doesn't it?
Any other theories?
I've seen a couple of people say this as they've...
Yeah, you've been having a look on Twitter, haven't you? And some other people have been saying this. I've not seen anybody else suggest it, apart from those ones that you showed me.
I didn't even think it was anybody in particular until people started saying,
It's always someone, isn't it? It's never just some random person.
He's such a dog! This is what happened. He's... Like, is it one of these things, once a cheater, always a cheater, because he cheated on Sabeen?
Yeah, but I think they've retconned that a little bit, because the first time round he just kissed one of her friends, and now it feels like it's a little bit more.
He's fathered 5 children.
Yeah, so what would that mean if he was with Abby? Do you think that they would put him and Abby together?
No.
Do you think... Because
it's an obvious mistake,
I'm less sure about... Abby and Kevin than I was like a year and a half ago.
Kevin and Abby, terrible.
I don't know. I'm just gutted if it does mean the end of Imran and Toyah, because I think that they are pretty suited together. They're both kind of very sensible, intelligent.
I like them together.
Laid back,
it's like nice
middle
having
class.
A normal couple. Like, they're the only people on the whole street that you can imagine getting really excited about Great British Bake Off being back and going, it's biscuit week, we should get some biscuits to eat while we watch it.
No, so I think that it's going there.
No.
And that's why Abby's done a bunk, and I think she's going to come back and stir things up.
No.
Do you, if it does come out, how long's Imran going to stay quiet about it? And when Toyah inevitably does find out, what's her reaction going to be?
Hey, frog!
Is she going... Do you think that she would take him back?
She's going to bust out the kickboxing, isn't she?
Do you think she would take him back?
I don't know. I can imagine her just being like, okay, well, there was just a mistake, and it's going to be fine. We're just going to have to go to counselling, and we're going to have to talk through our feelings, and you're going to have to explain why you're such a bastard, and it'll all be fine, and we just need to work together overcome. She
does come across as quite insecure sometimes, does Toyah.
I can't believe she was like desperately asking him to forgive her at the end of the week.
Well, that's so cliche, isn't it? Like I said. Oh dear, that's my theory anyway.
I really, really want somebody to slap Imran, and I really hope it's Toyah.
Who do you hate more at the moment, Imran or Tyrone?
Tyrone.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Tyrone's an idiot.
What's Imran then? If he's done that,
Imran's just got like a overactive penis.
Overactive penis disorder. I've heard of OCD, but not OPD. So what do you think about this? Look, Harvey?
Tyrone's an emotional cheater. Even though he actually broke up with Fizz before he started going out with Alina, he fell in love with her. Whereas Imran just seems to be like, whoops, I fell over with my pants off onto you.
Right.
And I regret it
this
badly.
Harvey case, Gemma, do you think that he is going to take it on?
Oh, he's going to have to, isn't he? Because Sabeen's going to be like, I'm going to tell everyone you're a big...
Oh gosh, I feel bad for the character of Imran. He's kind of been thrown in front of the bus here, hasn't he? He really, really has. Just like some of my other favourites.
We need a good story. Let's just sacrifice this character.
Well, I wonder how much of this was planned, because obviously we've seen that Sally Carman had COVID, and so she had to disappear. And up until literally tonight, I thought, well, her disappearance, maybe they weren't originally going to do that. They've just wanted to have her bogging off mysteriously because the actress couldn't be on the show. But what would have been... I wonder what would have been happening if Abby had done the deed with Imran and she'd still been on the show. Would she have been giving him strange looks, or I don't know, or would the truth have come out earlier?
I can imagine them glaring at one another. Maybe it's better for the story that she's not around. Because...
I was really hoping that at the end of today's episode, like, there would be the final scene where the truth comes out, because we wouldn't have had time to theorise and it would have just been dropped on us. But now we've kind of thought about different people that it could be. Do you think that there's any chance, like I said about Leanne or Laura, or is that like, am I just trying to make it so there's not just the one option?
Oh, I don't know.
Because we've seen it. Leanne, she's done it before, didn't she, with Steve McDonald? She's a bit of a one night stand merchant.
Well, she did also say to Toyah, "Oh, you were so nice to me when Ollie was sick. I wouldn't do that for you."
Yeah.
So if she wouldn't do that for her, would she also not cheat with her boyfriend?
I don't know.
She's a terrible sister.
Okay, sentencing then, just before we move on. Kelly's got 15 years minimum. Are you surprised by this?
No, I don't really care, because she's not going to be there, is she?
Exactly,
she's gonna be
my thoughts.
Like some magic fairy's going to come and go, I'm the law fairy, and according to it, so didn't he?
Not a chance that she's going to be there for that long. I'd be surprised if she's not home by Christmas, to be honest, or at least
that's what they said during World War One.
I know. But they could have sentenced her to like 500 years, and I'd have been just as shocked.
Fired into the eye of the sun.
It's not like Faye when she got her 3 years early this year. Was it? I was like, blimey.
What? We're going to see Faye for 3 years?
Oh well, Kelly, don't worry about it.
And
just
the judge
keep
is
your chin
like,
up, love. It won't be too long.
That's right. You've got to go and do a degree, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Okay, right. Let's move on then. So we have got the tangentially related grounds for complaints story, Gemma. This isn't the order that I said earlier, is it? But this is related, isn't it? So I'm going to post it on here.
For complaints.
Football grounds. Having a bit of a moan.
Did you write down Imran being duffed in the nose by Kevin on Ecky Thump?
I might have done. I'm scrabbling for Ecky Thump nominations this year for the Conversation Street Awards, because there aren't many fights.
But yeah. we'll take a backhanded punch this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So. Good job we don't have Best Snog, innit?
Oh, yeah.
God, that's... Ugh.
Well, we got James and Danny.
I'm surprised they don't have that.
And Nina and Seb.
In one of the
only snogs this whole year.
I'm surprised that's not a category that they had to get rid of in the Soap Awards, along with Sexiest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we had Tyrone and Fizz as well. Right, go on.
Actually,
Corey
you know
story.
what?
Or
having
just call it that
would be a pretty good... Yeah, would be a pretty good category. But we're not... We don't like people kissing each other. It's disgusting.
Don't even do it ourselves. What's Asha and Nina been up to, Gemma? Come on, moving on.
Asha comes into the cafe and tells Nina that she's off to a school trip to the Imperial War Museum.
Ooh,
and I tell you what, if she
just round the
thought
corner.
This was a turn on, she's completely wrong. Nobody who's left school should be attracted to somebody who's telling them about the school trip that they're going on, unless they're married to a teacher.
Roy, though, he's probably like, "Oh, Asha, you're suddenly so much more sexier to me. Imperial War Museum, let me tell you all about that.
It's just up the road from here. That's really convenient."
Oh no, that was the old set.
She's...
What? Oh no, it's not. The Imperial... No, that is right next door, isn't it?
What was you can literally park
by
there.
Key Street. You're right. It's literally a stone's throw away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like over the road.
Yeah.
She's pretty excited and she says, I'm sorry that I said I loved you in court. And they're like, oh, well, weirder things have happened on this programme. Let's not dwell. Later on, Roy finds Nina doing some drawings. She's lightening up a bit. She thinks she might be in a less dark place, but she feels a bit restless and unfulfilled. Join the club.
She should do a podcast.
Yeah, just start a podcast. That fills the void, doesn't it? Later on, Nina's decided to take her design portfolio to Carla to try and get a job back. I don't think it's going to work, because the last time she was there, wasn't she throwing things at people and saying that they were stupid and their customers were all basic bitches? She's like, oh, here's a picture of Joy, somebody wearing the pants that I've designed for you, and they're holding a pumpkin spice latte. They're a basic bitch. So, Carla's like, no, thank you. You're a bit too flighty for us. Also, considering that the last time you worked for us was months ago, I've actually hired somebody else because we need somebody to design pants for us, and I didn't want to tell her, but Sarah's crap. Roy says, well, why don't you go back to college and get a proper qualification?
Good plan. What
a great idea. So on Wednesday, Asher turns up at the cafe again, and Nina says, I'm looking into doing a fashion textiles course at Wethy College. And Asher looks at some of the material that she's got to make these designs and says, can I model some of them?
No, I don't know that she does ask. I think Nina invites her to model some, which I don't think it was a very sensible idea, considering if I'm Nina and this girl had confessed under oath her undying love for me, and I wanted to distance myself from this, I don't think I'd be wanting her to do this. She might get the wrong end of the stick here.
I think they've both got the wrong end of the stick, which makes me think the stick has got no right ends. Later on, Asher's all sparkly. She rips a bit of lace.
Yeah, she's got a nice sparkly top on. Blackly top on.
I was confused here because I thought that some of the fabric that Asher was holding was fabric that Nina had bought, but then later Nina says that it was a dress that she bought and altered.
I don't know. She's just got fancy clothes. Asher rips them.
But it doesn't matter. Nina shows how to fix it. And then Roy comes along and says, oh, Kelly's been given 15 years. Asher thinks the dress looks amazing. I don't think that no one seems to care about Kelly. She's like, I'm sure you're going to get on the course. And Nina starts taking pictures of her modelling, and they're like, oh, how should I dress? Oh, fashion, ooh.
They do all the poses, don't they?
Yeah, and then they're all like, ha, ha, ha. Asher goes upstairs, and Roy says, look, I think that she fancies you. Then we find out that Jack comes in to Kevin's kitchen, front room, dining room, all the same room, and says, I think that Corey's made it onto the bench in the next game because they think he's a real prospect.
Is that right? I mean, I don't understand football parlance. He's going to be on the main team?
He's on the first team, is that what they said?
But is that the actual main one?
I don't know. Is
seems like this
in this country where first floor and ground floor mean something different?
It feels quite soon for this person who's still quite young. Is it literally a celebrity signing?
When you're a footballer, you've got to start young.
It felt like it was a long time before James got onto the main team, didn't he? He's only just taken on Tommy Orpington's jumper, or whatever it is they wear, T-shirt.
I hate to say this
a few months ago,
James, but I think Corey's
probably
supposed to be better at football. And also he's not injured.
I think that this manager at Wethy County Football Club just likes hiring people that have made a name for themselves. And like, look, I've got the gay footballer. Yes, you can be on my team. Oh, I've got the person
the murdering footballer.
Yeah, exactly. You can be on my team. He's just gonna. It's like
maybe he's gonna hire Harvey Gaskell. I've got the drug dealing footballer. And then he's gonna get Imran. I've got the cheating footballer.
Sharon, I've got the tasing footballer.
Oh, I've got the woman footballer. Ooh. Anyway, on Friday, Nina's got butterflies because she's having an interview to get on the course.
I don't think she has butterflies. I think that she has moths because she's a goth.
Oh, cool. Or bats.
Yes, the goths have bats in my stomach.
Got bats in my stomach. I need to go to the toilet. This is how COVID started, Nina. Tim comes in and makes things worse by moaning about Corey training with the first team. She's excited. She's in. Frankly,
in the course.
She's on the course.
She's not on the team.
She's in a team
my
too.
golf footballer.
I wouldn't let her on my course because it doesn't seem like she's going to learn anything, to be honest. It seems like she already knows it all. Don't you think?
She makes.
She's
yeah,
like,
she's
I'm really
got some
worried
great
I'm not
designs.
going to be able to get on the course. What to learn how to do the thing that you just did. All right. Anyway, she reads some choice quotes about how amazing Corey is from the county website. Then Kevin comes in, he's got a plan. He goes around to number 3, and his plan seems to be to get James to have a moan at his manager about Corey being on the team because he's a murderer. And James is like, oh dear, I'm already a bit of in trouble because he hurt his ankle.
Oh yes, that's right.
And he can't play, and he's also accusing the police of being racist. Which probably makes everybody a bit nervous. And then he's thinking, I'm going to be speaking out again here and I'm going to get a target on my back. He does it anyway. And then the manager's like, you're just jealous. You're just jealous. So...
You're just jealous that you didn't get accused of murder.
Yeah, you're just jealous. You're not in the papers anymore. You got that 30 grand, you should shut up and take the money. Kev tells Tim they want to go to the grounds and make a complaint. Is that where you got the idea for the plan?
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah. Asher tells Audrey about what's going on, and he says to her, look, stop being creepy about Nina. She doesn't want you to be in love with her, and you're an idiot, basically. And then later on he's like, sorry I called you an idiot, have some chocolate. And now Asher says... I was trying to seduce her with my modelling. It didn't seem to work.
Fair play.
At the grounds, the manager's there and Kevin has a go. And he's like, look, he was cleared of murder, so stop bringing it up. It's really awkward when you keep talking about it.
I was just distracted during this scene because I'm pretty sure that was not the same place that they usually use for the Weatherfield County grounds because we went there, didn't we? We went.
I think that it's shut down now.
Yeah. Is it somewhere new?
Somewhere different.
We actually got to see the grass, the pitch.
You actually got to see a goal.
We got to see the football garden where they kick the ball around.
Football garden.
Is that what they call it?
I saw a funny discussion on the internet today, which made me realise that Americans don't use the word garden in the same way that we do.
What?
We say garden to mean what they would say as yard.
Oh.
So they would say, oh, here's my vegetable garden, to mean vegetable plot. Whereas in this country, a garden is just the front and back of your house. The grassy bit. Where you might have a lawn or decking, if Alan Titchmarsh has been around.
Thank you for that PSA.
Football garden in America would be covered in vegetables and flowers, whereas in this country it'd just be lawn.
Right.
Yes, right. So, Kevin's like, you've not heard the last of this. You're lucky I already punched someone this week.
I've got a quota.
Yeah.
The judge allows me one punch a week.
He says, look, I'm on probation. If I do more than that, I get in trouble. I'm not allowed to do one next week. I've got 52 a year. Tim finds Kevin getting mad at Stefan, who's come to have a go at him for moaning at the manager about Corey. Again, surprised he didn't get a punch. He's probably mad. He's like, damn, I didn't even get to really do that to Imran. That was an accident. I hate it when I waste one on an accident. Ashley goes to the cafe to apologise to Nina. And she kind of like goes, I'm so over you, or something really weird, like an awkward.
They kind of like, oh, we're friends, aren't we? Yeah, everything's cool.
Everything's cool. And then Nina looks away and Asher's like, oh, but I still love you. Tim and Asher then tell Nina to give up on having a go at Corey. She's like, let's protest. And they're like, no, get over it.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
We don't care anymore.
I don't really have much to say about the story. It just kind of happened. I don't know whether I still don't know whether I want the Nina and Asher reconciliation to happen or not. They were quite sweet together. It makes a lot of plotty sense that she would still have these lingering feelings, but yeah, I'm not fussed either way, really. What do you think?
About Nina and Asher?
Yeah.
No, I don't want them to get back together again, because I think
she can't get back with Seb. He's dead, Gemma.
Yeah, he's dead.
Get over it.
God, yeah, but
let it rest.
But Nina's a goth and he's a ghost. Match made in heaven.
Like Casper.
Yeah.
It was fine. I like all the characters in it. I'm not fussed about Kevin Kevin's involvement.
What do you think about this crusade? I find that more interesting. This crusade to get Corey fired from the team.
Yeah, what was missing though was we didn't have any Corey this week.
No.
Considering that we had Kelly's sentencing and this story, which was literally centering around Corey, we didn't see hide nor hair of him. It was weird. We needed him there, smirking and glaring and being generally a cocky arsehole. But maybe they had the quota of that with Max this week. I don't know. Get Corey onto the show. He's brilliant.
Yeah, it does really
and
feel
I feel that he's going to come a cropper one of these days, so when Soap Justice catches up with him. So the more we can see of him now, the better.
You said he'd go to prison. I said he'd die.
Well, it's prison. That's coming a cropper.
I
isn't
think.
It? Oops, I'm in prison.
No, that's not. I think that he's going to be the guest star at Coronation Street. They're going to be like, oh, now Corey Brent, our local celebrity, who is famous for footballing / murdering.
Yeah. Kicking in all its forms.
And that's quite a scary thing to have as a guest, isn't it, for your Halloween party? A murderer.
Yeah, good point. Right, okay, let's move on then. I've got nothing else to add about that. From one scrote to another. Max, who continues to insist at school that he didn't take this wallet of Daniel's that went missing last week. David's there trying to get him to school. And he's going to ring up the school to complain. He's turned into one of these militant parents that's going to march up the school and complain about the teachers for just trying their best in their jobs. I'm glad for Shona this week. Wasn't she ace with her defence of teachers this week? And she was saying today with these poor teachers, they work their asses off. I know Daniel's only been a teacher for 4 weeks at this point, although he seems like he's been doing it for years. We're not getting any kind of, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm on probation, or
it just goes to show you that Coronation Street has confidence, no interest in whatsoever in.
He's a teacher now. That's it, and he looks like he's been doing it all
they
his
literally
life.
Don't.
He didn't even get the full PGCE because they only started it back in February, didn't they?
They really don't understand what I mean. The stress of teaching is not arsey parents. It's some of it is. It's like the relentless workload.
Yeah, which Daniel clearly doesn't have because he's always in the cafe.
Because he's an English teacher and they have the least amount.
Yeah, no marking for an
anybody.
English teacher, exactly. No, I would be interested, but maybe it's not an interesting plot to have Daniel in his first year of teaching. I said this last week.
Yeah, but listen, I think what Coronation Street is worried it might feel a bit political, and I think that people might start accusing them, because there's a vast number of people in this country who firmly believe that teachers do nothing and get paid crap loads and take holidays, yet they don't believe it enough to actually become teachers themselves, which is strange.
It's all right though, because the Labour have some conference, I think yesterday or the day before, and they said they're going to recruit however many thousand teachers now. I
didn't think it was a conference they had. I thought it was an S show.
Okay, so anyway, Daniel, later on, he's in the cafe, where else, gets a call from school. He has to hurry in there, and he got a meeting with a deputy head who's invited David in for a meeting with him and Daniel. And she's
like, I'm not going to prepare you in any way, Daniel, for this meeting, or talk to you.
No, just going to launch you into it.
Your point of view, or protect the school in any way from these accusations, and find out if they have any basis whatsoever.
No.
And you are being accused of assault.
She does kind of have his back a little bit, doesn't she? But she just wants this whole issue kind of dealt with, and she says, look, can you just apologise to David? And he says, yeah, I am sorry for grabbing Max, but he does refuse to withdraw his accusation of Max for taking the wallet, because he is pretty sure that he did it. And things start to get very fraught.
Of the two things that he's in there for, accusing a child of stealing something, surely is nowhere near as serious as physically touching the child and grabbing him.
Yeah.
Surely that's a sackable offence.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I don't think you're not
probably not allowed to do that. I'm so glad that Aidan Critchley got a call out in the later on when they had that scene with Ken. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So things are getting pretty anxious there.
I also like the way that Dave is like, thank you for admitting you beat my child up. He is a little arsehole, but don't accuse him of being a thief, because I won't stand for that. Plats aren't thieves.
David wants Daniel to get sacked, and he gets very frustrated when this boss, deputy head woman, backs her staff member, which she should be doing, I think. And David goes back home. This is when he has the moan at Shona. Shona thinks this is massively overblowing the situation.
I don't think she should if he's like, yeah, I roughed him up, but he's a thief.
I don't know.
What do you think this is,
She's
Aladdin?
just like, he's only new, he'll learn.
You can't, look, Daniel, you can't admit to beating the children. You can beat them, but never admit it.
She says, you're shaping up to be an excellent teacher, Daniel. So it'd be a shame. You might as well just apologise.
Just stop beating the kids.
I literally think... how do they even know? He's literally just started. So anyway, later, Max...
He's not a good teacher.
Max is in the shop.
He might be able to... He might understand the subject, but he clearly can't connect to the children. That's being a good teacher.
He connected with Max. He connected his fist to his face. How do I reach these kids? So I just stretch a bit louder. Kevin knows.
Kevin's like, I know how you do it.
Max is in the shop later. He's trying to buy something contactlessly and clearly with Daniel's card. But it's declined, so he's kind of scurries off there. And later on, the deputy comes into Daniel's room and says, "Oh, you're in trouble now. David's reported you to the police. I can't really back you on this one anymore." Dev goes round to see David and says, Max was in the shop earlier. He was trying to buy something. And it declines. What's going on there? And David straight away says, "Oh yeah, I lent him my card. It's just gone over its overdraft." And he clearly at this point is starting to put two and two together and realise that his son really has stolen Daniel's wallet, but he's not letting on. So Max gets home later and gets massively yelled at by David, which I think he was well overdue. David has been far too lax and lenient with Max at this point. If he knew that he did it, well, he didn't know for sure at this point, but it was. He knows that his son has turned into a massive arsehole, and it's
seemingly
not a surprise.
overnight.
But yeah, it was. So David yells, "Sit down!" at him. I know what you've been up to. I know you've been skiving this afternoon.
Oh, he's doing a Toyah. I know what you've done.
Yeah.
Now admit it.
Now tell me what you've done. Max throws him this wallet. He does have it after all. He doesn't seem that bothered. Or he does kind of say, "Are you going to dob me in?" But he's like, whatever. He doesn't.
I'm glad to know that that's still usable.
He doesn't know he doesn't know right from wrong. Shona and David give Max another talking to later, and he wants to know if he's going to get in trouble with the school. He gives this fairly unconvincing apology to David and Shona, and David's like, "Right, I'm going to ring the deputy now." So Daniel's having a mope in the pub later because he has been suspended because of this police report thing that's going on.
Police report.
Yeah, David reported him to the police, didn't they? I literally said that earlier. You're not paying attention to me. Daisy's there. She's still wafting around like a fart. And
no, I don't think she is.
She is.
She's not.
She says...
She's like a beautiful perfumed cloud of incense.
Daisy says, "Look, you're probably better off out of it, to be honest. Everybody hates teachers, don't they?" And he's like, "Hang on a minute, didn't you say you wanted to be a teacher?" And she's like,
I forgot.
Forgot what she said, but
just
trying to get into your pants.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's determined to stick at this. He wants Ken and Bertie to be proud of him. And speaking of Ken, this is when we get the speech later between Ken and Daniel where he tells him about Adrian Critchley, who was the scrote of 20 years ago, wasn't he? And,
I'm surprised he's like, "Oh, I should have warned you that some of these kids are absolute scrotes."
Well, he should have on the first day of term, shouldn't he? He should have given him a bit of a pep talk.
Beat them.
Number one, don't punch children.
Because even 20 years ago, you weren't allowed to beat them.
So Aidan Critchley was a boyfriend of Sarah Louise's, who was the ne'er-do-well. He was basically the Max of the early 2000s, wasn't he? And we've seen him a little bit on the classic episodes that we're watching. But yeah, he riles Ken up somewhat in class one day, and Ken gives him a bop on the nose, and that's why he's not a teacher anymore. Anyway,
sad.
Daniel gets a phone call from the school. David's dropped the case, hurrah. But he still hasn't admitted that Max has got the wallet. He just says, "Oh, I want to give Daniel a chance as a teacher, and maybe I've been overreacting a little bit." So Daniel goes to the shop later, finds out about this whole thing with Max and the credit card. Then he heads off to see David, who says, I just didn't want to... The only reason I dropped the case was because I didn't want you to lose your job, like I said earlier. Daniel says, I found out about the card and that Max paid with a card and it was declined. I think this is mighty suspicious. And David says, no, it's my card. Daniel does not believe him in the slightest, but he goes. And Max just ends the episode smugly grinning because he thinks he's got away with it and David's lied for him. Shona says, "David, you have made things 100% worse because now Max thinks that he's got you around his little finger and he can get away with murder. just like Corey Brent.
Yep, next minute he'll be playing for the Weatherby County.
Exactly. Wednesday, David does fair play to him, read Max the riot act before he goes to school. And then, and
Max
after class...
Am I Bothered personified, isn't he?
Yeah. Because Daniel tells Max, you did quite well in class today, and Max isn't bothered.
I don't care.
And
I think this play was rubbish.
Then we had a bit of Daniel and Daisy. They're going out on a date. Nothing really happens there. And then the last kind of scene that we see of this on Wednesday was Max smarming his way down the road, and David telling him, "You should be grounded, mate. Come inside." And Max is like, "Nah, mate, you're all right." And he just keeps on going, doesn't he? So
what a douchebag.
Yeah. Max 1, David 0 at this point.
Yep, wrapped him round his little finger.
I'm still not enjoying him though. I'm not, and he's not a love to hate.
Oh, I love to hate him. I want to snap him over my knee.
Every time he comes onto the screen, it's like, oh no, I hate
you.
But
I'm enjoying it.
Partly it's a case of they couldn't have cast. Or they couldn't have redesigned the character more if they tried. He's so unlike the other Max.
It's like with Summer. It's like recently where they've recast 3 characters in a really I'm gonna say lackadaisical but Summer, Audrey, and Max have all been cast with absolutely no thought whatsoever to maintaining the characters that had already been established. And it's worked really, really well for Audrey. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely
which is
brilliant.
why I'm kind of now thinking I don't really mind if they don't look like them, for sure. And even if the personality's not exactly the same, I don't mind as much as I used to. But as long as I like the character, that's the most important. I will accept a massive personality change if they're going to give me someone amazing like they have with Audrey.
With Summer, it was, she wasn't like the opposite of Summer, but there's nothing summery about her, really. No. She just filled a summer-shaped hole. And then Max is just like, Max who? Who's this guy? And it's a really weird kind of decision to make in a soap, which used to, I think, worry more about recasts. But honestly, I think since they've recast Todd, they've been like, whatever.
And I think, to me, honestly, the most important thing is, do I like the new person or not?
But yeah,
and I just have to deal with it and hope that Corey doesn't do it very
Coronation
often.
Street probably is more concerned with hiring quality actors who can perform the role that they want the character to take on now.
Absolutely.
But it is really, I just think it's weird. But then, it's not unprecedented in Coronation Street because Nick was recast as Ben Price from
Adam Rickett.
Adam Rickett, and they could not be more different from one another.
No, but
because Adam Rickett's Nick was an absolute drip. And like a boy band, like the Lost boy band member, when they went to B&Q, he got left in the bathroom department, and he's just been haunting it ever since.
Looking in the mirror,
going, where?
Checking out his curtains.
Where am I? Look at that! I flex my abs. and then Nick Price's Ben Price's Nick is like couldn't be more different physically and personality wise. So it's not like it's unprecedented. It just really it just feels obnoxiously different to me. And
I still don't. I'm not buying the whole like, oh, David, you were also a tearaway teen. He was very, very different. He was charming. He was psychologically
damaged, whereas Max is just, I've got too many hormones.
Anyway, speaking of David,
I don't want to criticise. Was this guy
Paddy Beaver?
I was going to say Max Beavers.
Max Beavers.
That's Imran.
How many can I get through in one night?
Yeah, maybe he shagged all of them.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Maybe
Laura
it's not
and
a question
Leanne
of who, but how many. Anyway, I don't want to disparage him because I think he's doing a brilliant job in the role that they've cast him to play, which is to be an obnoxious, bratty git.
He is doing a fantastic job at that, but it doesn't mean I'm enjoying watching him, unfortunately.
It's kind of like, it feels like picking a scab watching these.
Anyway.
Like, I don't want to be doing it, but it also is compelling and I can't stop.
I'm kind of feeling a bit I'm not enjoying David at the moment, and he's like a proper favourite character. And I think he was just being a massive arse to Daniel this week. And I know it's an in-school issue, but I would have expected David to have just sorted this out because he's been a neighbour for the last few years. They've not had massive beef. I know there was the whole Bethany thing, but
you would think he would be a bit cooler about it, and also like some parents, to their child's detriment almost, know that their kid's a little bastard and never back them up, which sometimes contributes to the child's anxiety and makes them act up even more. I can imagine David being completely on the teacher's side every time.
I would have thought so as well.
Because I remember when I was a kid, if I ever came home from school and was like, "Hey, Mrs. Brown is mean to me," she'd be like, "What did you do?"
I think,
because my mum's a teacher and she's like, I'm not having none of your tricks, girl. I know that the teacher's in the right here.
Yeah, I just don't think this has been a very good look for David this week.
It's making him boring and like a kind of me like, oh, I'm going to get on the
and the fact that he still hasn't...
I'm going to write an email to the school.
The fact that he still hasn't said, right, you're going to go round to Mr. Osborne's house with this wallet, you're going to tell him that you stole it and you're going to apologise to his face. He's like trying to hide it from him. He's trying to seem cool for his kid or something. Yeah, what is he up to? Hide his secret. Shona was absolutely right that Max is now thinking he's going to be able to get away with anything.
Idiot.
And I just don't see David as the kind of person who would let his son walk all over him like that.
Wow.
I'm afraid.
Wow.
It's a shame because David is a favourite character of mine.
Didn't we?
Yeah. But on the plus side, we did get the sinkhole getting a mention again this week with the Platts. We had somebody coming around to have a look at how much it cost to fix it this week, didn't we?
Oh, don't all love. Gonna have to give you a quote about that. Well, I want to remind everyone that what's her face? Natasha did say...
Is that your sign, Gemma? For the benefit of the listeners, Gemma just did a snippy fingers like she's a hairdresser. That's your sign name for Natasha. We've been learning all about these.
My sign name was snippy fingers next to my eyes and rolling my eyes back in my head, trying to access the memory in my brain. She said she'd pay for this.
She did, yeah.
And now later on we're going to talk about it in this storyline, but Gail and David were arguing about who's paying for it, and it's definitely Natasha.
Natasha said she would. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to the story then, the audio no visual.
I felt really bad for Audrey this week, and I also wondered what you were thinking of this, because she backed into a car, which is exactly what you did.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, and you're not 81, and I can't believe that nobody's just letting it be an accident.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see the car, you backed into it.
If people only ever backed into cars because
they're old and they can't see properly.
There wouldn't be very many accidents.
It's like there's no such things as accidents in Coronation. Fair enough as there aren't.
Anybody who ever has a car accident is blind.
Yeah, according to the Platts, apart from Audrey. Anyway, so she's still mad on Monday, or is Audrey, about Rita going to Claudia to get her hair colour done. And Gail's like, get over it, just let it drop. And she's like, shut up, Gail, you don't understand what this means to me.
This story didn't particularly work for me this week, I have to say, just on the off. That whole thing about Rita going to see Claudia to get her colour done for all these years, I thought that was just a kind of throwaway line at Norris's funeral.
It was probably best left as that.
I exactly think it was that, because then it led to nastiness between them at the wake, and now it's spiralled into its whole thing, and Audrey and Rita both being fairly being carry about it and stubborn and yeah. I didn't like it.
I thought it kind of ruined everyone's character this week.
It did a bit,
which is a shame, because obviously they were like thinking, oh, we really got to get these. We've got these actresses back on the street now. We've got the older characters back.
Let's give them something dramatic to do.
Let's give them something, and then they gave them this. Audrey is having a mope in Victoria Gardens later on because she thinks she's past it, and Shona finds her and Audrey talks to her about she thinks that she's a good stepmom for some reason.
I'm just that was the Max story. I found that there's crossover between the Max story and this one in places.
Clatty as well.
Yeah.
Rita comes into the pub later. She wants to have Audrey come to visit her to do her hair, and Audrey's like, "No, I wouldn't do your hair if you were dead, and I used to do that for a living." Throw back.
Oh, thank you. Throw back.
Audrey nips to the loo. And Gail invites her to the belated surprise party that they're throwing.
No, Rita lips to the loo. I've written Audrey. Written. They're having a surprise birthday party, belated birthday party for Audrey, aren't they?
Yes, they are, because it was her birthday and she's 81 and they keep bringing it up, just like somebody else I know keeps bringing it up how somebody else is. On Wednesday, Gail and Sarah summon Audrey to the cafe to tell her they're having a party, and she's like, "Oh, you better not have invited Rita." And they're like, "Uh-oh." Of course they have, because literally that's...
So it was the Audrey that went to the loo and Gail tells Rita. Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
This is kind of a bit tragic as well, because I'm sure Audrey has more friends than just her family and Rita.
I know. After all these years.
The party starts, but it's just Audrey, Gail, Sarah and David, and the rest of the family can't even be bothered to turn up. Nick, who else? Other people can't be bothered.
Martin. Too busy being in Australia.
Gail left a message on Rita's phone to not come, and then she turns up anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no, before then, they're like, "Oh, Audrey, do you want to drown your sorrows?" And she's like, "No, I just want a lime and soda." Like, "Oh, but you're a massive lush and you love to get drunk." I was nearly said another swear word. You love to get drunk. And she's like, "No, I just want a lime and soda." This really bothered me. All this week was everybody telling Audrey what she wants and what she thinks. She can't even order a drink without getting hassle off her family about, "Oh, why don't you get drunk?" So she gets given all these gifts.
I thought, as much as I didn't particularly like this story, and I think that's going to be a bit controversial to say this, I'm all about not enjoying stories that other people are enjoying, but this was a great scene because she's there opening her present, and it's this foot spa from David, isn't it? And David's he's like trying to read it out.
Reading the benefits.
And as he's like halfway through reading it, he's thinking, this isn't selling it. It's like,
rubbish.
"Oh, it's got a corn remover for, I'm removing your corns," and
yeah, he's not going to get a job on QVC, is he?
And then she's like, "This is an old woman present, though, isn't it, David?" And Sarah's there with a blanket that she's... a slanket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we don't see this until we then cut to Sarah, and she's kind of wearing it and says, "Oh, I'll just send this slanket back." And then Audrey's like, "What you got me then, Gail?" And just a pair of slippers.
Well, she starts opening it really excitedly, and Gail's like, "Oh, maybe don't open it right now. It's not that exciting."
I thought that was a well-written scene. That
lady slippers.
Comedic. Nothing wrong with a good pair of slippers.
I bought myself a new pair of slippers for my birthday today.
Did you?
Yeah, they've got a lobster on them. Rita shows up, so already Audrey's having a bad day, and then along comes her arch enemy. She said she heard the message, but she didn't care. She's not going to hold grudges at her age. And Audrey's like, "Look, I'm still young enough to hold a grudge." And she storms off. Gail chases her out to the car. Audrey's fed up with being treated like a doddery old lush, and then she backs into Rita's car. You know, you couldn't make it up, could you?
That scene was not done very well. It was like clear that something was going to go on there, and then it's like...
Gail just seems
it would
to
be Rita, wouldn't it, that she backs into? And then Gail, what should the script writer, whoever wrote this episode, what should we have Gail say after her mum backs into Rita's car? "Ma'am, you've just backed into Rita's car," says Gail. Thanks for that. It did
seem like she was being given the job of the audio descriptor.
Yes.
Or she's
that's all Gail's good for at the moment, though, isn't it? Just commenting on what happens.
Really bad lines this week.
And there was multiple references this week to Gail also losing her faculties, didn't they? And people making fun of the fact that Gail's not quite as sharp as she used to be, but she really isn't.
It was a really depressing storyline because everyone kept saying, even Sarah was like, "Oh, I don't remember things anymore." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's the country. Are we all being gassed or something?" Is that what's going on? Maybe it's a kindness.
Maybe.
Rita thinks Audrey did it on purpose. They have another feud and Audrey fumes off. She calls down with the Platts at the bistro later, and Gail wants to make sure that it was just a one-off. They're all a bit worried. They all think that she is going mad or...
deaf. Mad or deaf?
Blind,
deaf,
stupid,
yeah,
and dumb. Debbie shows them the Halloween Coronation Street leaflet. They don't seem that excited.
They've seen their fair share of horrors on the street.
Like,
anyway.
I wanted to go to the Chariot Square Hotel for Halloween.
We had a drug dealer buried underneath our granny annex. Can you beat that, Debbie?
We had a murder. We had a live episode. That's scary. On Friday, Audrey and Rita are having a reconciliation meeting in the cafe, and Audrey's like, look, don't go for insurance. I'll pay for the car to be repaired. And then Gail says, oh, no. Rita says, that's funny, because Gail said she'd pay. You should get your eyes tested. And Audrey's like, no. Gail speaks. See, this is the thing where Audrey is in the wrong here, because maybe she should get her eyes tested. And I know that there are lots of people who, there are lots of things to say about older drivers and, are they safe and should they have tests and
is this
things.
What this story is? Is this an issue story about older drivers?
Might be. I don't know, but the trouble I have with it is I do agree that, as you get older, it becomes more dangerous, and if you know that you're not really driving to the best of your ability and you're putting other people at danger, you shouldn't drive. But what's the alternative for a lot of these people? Audrey's got
She's got a tram stop. She's got the weather-failed wayfarer. She's fine.
Audrey has got a support system in place, but there are lots of old people who literally have to fend for themselves. And when we get to 81, we're not going to have a family to look after us. We're going to have to be driving ourselves. You better hope that we've made enough money in our pensions to be able to afford taxis and things.
Okay.
Or maybe our robot butler can drive us around.
It's fine.
But you see what I'm saying? It's all very well, but what's
the
the solution? Because nobody cares about old people enough to posit a solution that's actually workable for them.
Just stick them in still waters.
Just shove them in a home.
Lock them in.
Then they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Good job. We solved that one. Gail speaks to David about worrying about her mum, and in particular she's worried that she's going blind. What if she hits someone the next time she's out driving? I mean, she would just join the club on that street. Maybe they should get some bloody sleeping policemen. What are they called?
Yeah, speed bumps.
Speed bumps is what they call them now. Sleeping policemen.
Ken wouldn't allow it, would he? Save the cobbles and all that.
Make them out of cobbles. Make giant cobbly ones.
Giant cobble.
They get into an argument about who's paying for the sinkhole next. Audrey goes to the plat chat at number 8, and David confiscates her car keys. What a patronising bunch of arseholes they are. And they say, right, you're not getting your car keys back until you go for an eye test. We've booked you one for tomorrow. So later on, Audrey has a meeting in the Victoria Gardens with her most evil great-grandchild, Max, and says, look, I know you're a thief. I've seen you stealing stuff off Rita. She doesn't bring up the fact he stole Daniel's wallet, because I guess it's not public information, but that's the most recent catch of his. So she says, go steal my keys back. So he does. He's really great at thieving. Gail finds them, and Audrey's like, haha, what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do. And then back at home, Audrey's like, I don't need an eye test.
She's very, very insistent about this, isn't she? I can't remember whether we've ever seen Audrey in glasses before. I know we've seen Sue Nichols in glasses before.
Do you think it's because she's vain? I don't. I think it's because she's worried that she's not actually...
I don't know. I think it's a mixture, isn't it? I think it's very much in Audrey's character that she wouldn't want to have to wear glasses. I don't think it's vanity. But I think it's partly vanity.
I agree with you that it's her personality, but I do think this is a story about ageing and about the sad decline of the human body. And it's horrible. I don't like it. I don't like thinking about this, because it will happen to everybody if you're lucky enough to live to be old. But accepting that your body can't keep up with what it is that you want to do is a hard thing to accept.
It is, but for some people it's harder than others. And I think for somebody like Audrey, who's always been about exactly. I think that she finds it difficult to come to terms with the fact that she's now an octogenarian.
How would you like it?
Well, I wouldn't, but I just think it's good that they picked Audrey for this, I think.
Because Audrey always seems like undefeatable, doesn't she? She's like... She really doesn't seem to have aged.
She's always got the upper hand.
For 20 years or more, she's just been Audrey. And she's fabulous, and she's always well-dressed. And she's not an old lady, like in the same way that Rita
exactly. I think, I can't remember how old Barbara Knox is at the moment, but of the more senior members of the cast, I think that Sue Nichols has by far got, I don't know how to put
what
this.
Are you
I think she's.
What are you saying?
I think that she's still the most compelling character for me. I think that she can still be relied on to pull it out the bag and deliver some brilliant comedy and drama.
Been a flighty, frivolous idiot for most of her life, and she hasn't changed. But now she just seems it kind of fits with her age a bit more. But she's always been like ditzy.
Yeah. Do you think the story's just going to end with her wearing glasses so Sue Nichols doesn't have to wear her contact lenses when she's playing Audrey? I don't know.
I've heard people saying that they think this is a bit more of a serious storyline, that maybe she's getting dementia, but she really hasn't given
it felt like it was maybe going that way before they had...
But she's not forgetting things.
No.
She just literally all she's done.
She forgot to look in the rear view mirror.
Everybody could do. If you've ever driven a car, you may get into an accident. That's why they're called accidents.
I can't remember. I'm sure she did something before that which made... Because she was saying, I'm fine, I can see, before she backed in, wasn't she? I just didn't think it was well done.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Well, look.
What?
I just have a great sympathy.
Well, you do love Audrey, don't you?
Yeah, but I also have a great sympathy for older people who are struggling with changes that happen as you age, and it's not fair at all. It's humans. We can't just live forever, though, can we?
No.
We've got to kill Audrey off.
Not unless you're William Roach. Bailey got 2 pennies to rub together next. Not much happens. We established through a Paul and Ed scene at the beginning of the week that he's still got his money problems, and then we have Danny, who I keep forgetting who he is when he shows up. He's talking to James and says, everything all right with Ed? He seems a bit distracted at the moment, and James says, look, I don't know how we can have cash flow problems if that's what he's saying. The amount he's been working, he must be raking it in. And then also Danny says that he heard...
I tell you what, I wish your job had a correlation between work and money.
I know. He also says that he heard Aggie and Grace having a bit of a barney about her being a money grabber. So James says to Ed, look, Danny says that you're having money problems at the moment and everything. That's not true, is it?
And Ed's like, oh, no. And then Aggie's like, right.
She tells him everything. James can't believe it.
Grace is blackmailing us.
Yeah, the house, she's paying for the rent. No, she's not paying for the rent.
She's getting half the money off Michael.
Exactly.
She's taking the baby away.
And Aggie's saying, we can't risk losing Glory. That's what it's all about. And we don't want to upset Michael, which is why we haven't told him.
Such an idiot.
So they
honestly,
just need to tell
pair
him.
Of idiots.
Just tell him.
Why are they not telling? It's not like Michael fancies Grace or feels guilty at all about stringing her along.
I know. Well, it's all worth it at the end of the day
also,
for Ed anyway, because he gets £15,000 transferred into his bank account by James. So thank you very much.
They like the way they're like, oh, we're just really struggling with money, son. It's not your problem. He's like, no, don't worry, I'm rich because I'm a footballer. It's 15 grand. Oh yeah, you are a rich footballer.
Still living with your mum and dad though.
Wow.
And your boyfriend. It doesn't make sense.
Well, the boyfriend's not living there.
Isn't he? Danny?
Isn't he?
I can't remember. I don't know.
Maybe Danny.
Anyway, nothing happened there. And then we had the bit more of the pollution storyline today, didn't we?
Pollution storyline.
Everybody's got asthma because of all the cars on Coronation Street. And that's another reason why Audrey backed into Rita, I think they were saying, was there wasn't enough room for her to manoeuvre around.
Well, I don't like parking and backing up.
You don't like driving full stop?
I don't mind driving.
It's just getting somewhere.
I don't like parking. I'm scared of parking now because somebody backed into me in a car park.
Right, come on then, smoke and mirrors, and then we're done with this.
Sally's fed up with waiting around for something to happen with this story, basically. So she goes and stirs everything up. She sees a counsellor who she used to work with when she was the mayor of this town, and she scurries after him because he has parked on the street so he can go and catch a tram, and she's outraged, like, what the hell? Everybody knows that parking outside your house is reserved only for you and you alone. And she moans at him, and he's like, look, shut up, stop, you're always like this when you're on the council, like, no, everyone hates you, Sally, leave me alone. It's perfectly legal for me to park wherever I like. So Sally sees Fergus, and she's like, sorry Fergus, that time that I tried to bribe you.
The tone of your voice there was a bit whinier. She was trying, I think she came across as a lot more smarmy.
She is. She's like, Fergus,
yeah,
an upstanding pillar of the community, helping us with our parking woes. I'm the Leo Tolstoy of Coronation Street.
I can't remember. Yeah, I've written that down, but I can't remember why she said that. That was Continue.
I would like to complain about the parking. And I want you to give this guy a ticket. And he's like, well, I can't just give anyone a ticket. And she says, well, why
you can give anyone a ticket, but they've got to be parking in a place that's against the rules.
Yeah.
Which this isn't, because it's free parking.
You can
Remember,
park where
Sally,
you like,
that's what you're campaigning about.
So she says, why don't you join our group, our campaign, to make it a residents-only parking zone so you can ticket everybody?
With gay abandon.
And he's like, wow, I love having more work to do. That sounds great. And he looks excited.
I imagine if I was a traffic warden, every time I found somebody who was parking where they shouldn't be, I'd be quite excited, I would have thought.
You're the sort of person who would love to give people car parking tickets.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
I would be the sort of person who would be scared in case somebody jumps out at me.
Would you say sorry but at the top of all your tickets and then put a little heart
sorry,
at the bottom so they didn't get mad at you?
You're not allowed to park here. Kiss, 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 £50. Sally harasses the counsellor again, and films...
That was a funny line, wasn't it? Was that in the Nina and Ash's storyline where somebody texts "ha" with an X for a kiss, and they said it was head hacks or something?
No, tax.
Oh, that's right, tax. Yeah,
she's
tar.
Like, tar,
that's right.
And she wrote an X on the end, and it says tax, and it was on a cake.
Yeah.
If somebody gave me a cake that said tax on it, I'd be scared. Wouldn't eat it, just in case it was a trick. And then, anyway, Sally harasses the counsellor with her phone when he gets back to his car.
He starts filming him, and I thought that was silly as well.
This was like the week of Karens on Coronation Street, because we had Sally doing this, and we also had Kevin and Tim harassing the manager trying to get Corey cancelled for being a murderer. I don't agree with the term Karen. I think it's misogynistic.
What do you think of the term... Oh, what was it that Asha said that she said there's a term for I fancy someone?
Oh no.
I don't remember what she said, but it's what the young people are saying. No.
A glom
no,
you.
I don't know. I don't matter.
I'm a simp for her.
They're simp, that's right.
I didn't like that. I thought, well, where'd you get... What forums have you been going on? Get off Reddit.
Right. That's it. I was happy to see Fergus again there. I wasn't expecting to see him. Where's Izzy? What's she doing? I don't mind. But Fergus, I'm all for him joining Sally's campaign. I think that could be a lot of fun.
I had a dream with Izzy in it the other day.
You also had a dream that I lost my teaching job.
Yeah, I did.
After we watched Monday's episode of Coronation Street and Daniel getting suspended, you dreamt that I was for some reason.
Yeah, it was horrible. And you were like, I don't care. And I was like, we're going to not be able to pay the mortgage. If you're like, yeah, I was suspended with no pay. And I was a bit upset.
Right, what are we giving this week's Corrie, Gemma?
I can only give it 0 for making me sad. It gives me nightmares.
This week's Corrie passed me by, I have to say. Like I said at the beginning, there were bits that I was quite interested in. The thing with Imran and Sabeen did get me kind of a bit theorisy at the end of the week, but also made me sad. The fact that Imran has seemingly cheated on Toyah. And everything else was just okay. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it 3 eye test lollipops out of 5. What about you?
Imran and Toyah are having the same argument every week.
What argument?
I think you fancy Sabeen. No, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that.
What are you giving it out of 5?
I really, really want Toyah to like slap somebody so much. I'll take her hand and do it for her if she wants me to. But she needs to stand up for herself a bit more. And I really, really want a kind of empowering Battersby like soliloquy or something where she's like, I've been letting people walk all over me for far too long. It's about time I stood up for myself. I'm sick and tired of you lying to me. Whack. And then maybe she kills him.
I don't want her to just, when this all comes out, for her to just sob and whinge and
I don't want her
to
be like, oh, let's go to counselling.
No.
I wanted to beat him to death or something.
No, I don't want them to stay together. I want it to have not happened.
Well, they need to foster another child because there's been...
Oh yeah, there's one thing that's going to make that cures all relationship problems. It's just another random child.
Problems, get a baby, even if it's not yours.
I want to know your score.
I know, I'm trying to decide. Will you mind your own business? Yes. It's my personal score, so I'm just going to whisper it to the viewers. You're not allowed to hear it.
No.
I'm going to give it 3.5 satellite dish sized spiders.
Oh, why is it half a spider?
I think. Well, is it the legs, or is it straight down the middle, or is it
somebody been plucking their legs off the spider and just left a bit in the middle?
I thought it was all right this week.
I thought it was all right.
I want to know what satellite dishes Adam's been looking at.
Why?
Because spiders don't get that big.
These ones do. They're huge. We've been there. It's a tip. The Office.
I know, but I've never heard of anybody suggesting that dirt attracts spiders.
I want to give a character of the week because I need to make a cup of tea before we do the news.
God damn it.
Sorry,
I'm holding you up.
I find this difficult to do a character of the week because it certainly isn't David because he was a bad parent.
He's an idiot.
I might. I don't think there's anybody like Toyah maybe. But she
not
did.
Imran because he's naughty.
Definitely not Imran. Sabeen was kind of fun, but she.
She's not main character.
I'd like it.
I liked her scooching past in the kennel, like, oh, can you try?
I think I might give it to Shona for her impassioned defence of teachers.
I thought that was nice of Coronation Street to throw teachers a bone because of all the people.
Yeah, typical that they give it to the character that's got brain damage to defend teachers.
About 3 times.
Oh, sorry. We just don't listen to each other.
No, I don't think it's... I think it's important in a marriage not to.
Speaking of Shona, what we didn't mention earlier is that she seems in no way to be
Ditzy
nuts
Shona.
anymore. She seems just, to me, like the old Shona this week, and that's what I like, because I didn't really... Although there have been funny moments with post-shot-in-a-box Shona, I do prefer the old one. So I liked her this week. So I'm going to give her a character of the week, just in the hope that she stays closer to that.
I'm going to give it to Audrey because I feel really bad for her.
I think that's a solid choice.
That she's great, and I love Sue Nichols, and I think that I love the character, and I like the exploration of aging, even though I find it deeply uncomfortable. I find anything medical, I don't like watching it. It feels to me like a medical story.
Yeah, it is. It's another one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, right.
Notice that Rita's have absolutely nobody's questioning her cognitive abilities because she's been thick since she's first appeared in the show.
Rita?
She's
not been thick.
She's thick.
Why is she thick?
You can be thick, but you can be wise.
She's totally wise. Mavis was thick.
Look, she's thick. She
had a bit of nous to her, did Rita, in the olden days.
She just reads stuff that she's got out of Women's Own or something.
No, I don't agree with that. I think she was a...
You can say she all she does is trot out cliches. When someone's sad, like, oh love, I understand it's hard for you at the moment.
Yeah, but she hasn't always been like that, has she?
But don't forget that when it's dark, it will get light again soon enough. That's not wise. That's just you read off a cracker.
Yes, and I'm saying that she is like that now, but she hasn't always been like that. Right, whatever. I'm done. I want to make my cup of tea. I want to get on with the news. So, that is Street Talk for this week. What did you think? Write in there and let us know.